EarthQuaker Devices just released the Astral Destiny, and I gotta tell you, this pedal is out of this world. Packed into this little box, we have 8 different reverbs, 8 different editable presets, 5 parameters that can be controlled by an expression pedal, and perhaps my favorite part, this stretch toggle. I want to start by showing you some of the sounds that I used on the track that you just heard, so let's pop into Logic. First things first, shout out to Alex Rubin for throwing drums on this super last minute. I'll link one of his videos down in the description. You're the man. So as you can see, I'm using 4 different effects on this pedal. I'm using the sub effect, the shimmer effect, the abyss effect twice, and we'll get into that, and then the astral effect. So let's go ahead and just take a listen to this first one where I'm already making use out of the stretch toggle. So that sound effect happens when you hold down on the stretch toggle. So the first one, I'm activating the stretch toggle and then deactivating. So activate, down, deactivate, back up. You can also just tap the toggle, and we'll get into that in the next effect. But I really like the way that this sounds kind of all throughout. It gives the chords a little bit of movement that I think sound really cool. So I hold down on the stretch toggle pretty much like every other chord. All right, so let's hop into this shimmer effect. So this is kind of like my lead line. I'll go ahead and throw the settings of the pedal up on the screen now. But here's one instance where I just tap the stretch toggle rather than holding it down. So I kind of wanted it to like drop out, but it drops out kind of in more of a creative way than just like cutting the sound effect completely. So I thought that was pretty cool. So the abyss settings here, those are kind of like the more distorted chords. In the little EarthQuaker Devices seminar that I did on this pedal, Corey recommended throwing the drives after the reverb, which I thought was interesting, so I tried it and I liked the way it sounded. So kind of my setup for this whole recording process was I plugged directly into the pedal, and then out of the pedal I went right into my interface. And I'll pull up my mix window here. I've got Amplitube on a bus. So this is just like the clean sounds, stock preset, and didn't do anything to it. And then on the drives, what I did was I double tracked them. So I'll just solo both of these. And I panned them hard left and right, which I thought kind of gave it a like really cool wide effect. And then on here in my stomp box section, I just threw on one of the Amplitube overdrives. So again, double tracked left and right. Let's move on to the final effect. Let me give you a little more of a listen to this one. And that glitch that's happening is just within the playback in Logic because I've got a lot running on my computer right now. Okay, so the very last layer that I used was the Astral layer, coming in strong with the stretch effect. So if you haven't picked up on this yet, this is kind of my homage to Hans Zimmer, the Interstellar soundtrack. I thought it was a really fitting tune for this pedal. And I remember him talking about creating the tracks and like, it was a while ago that I watched the video, but he essentially recorded organs in like this huge cathedral, and I really thought that I thought that sound was it. So then I have a bass track at the bottom just to fill out the low end. And like I said, Alex added drums. Thanks again. So let's go ahead and just listen to the track one more time so you can see what's going on. Got the sub. Here comes the shimmer. You can kind of hear that sub moving. Drives. And here comes the stretch. So there are 4 of the effects on the pedal. I'll link to EarthQuaker Devices video. They do a more in-depth run through all of the different settings. I've only had about 24 hours to play around with this pedal, build the track, and shoot the video. So I'm not gonna do too much of a deep dive on the other settings because I haven't really found a good use for them yet, though I'm sure a good use exists. Before we wrap up, I'm gonna show you how to save presets on the pedal, as well as map an expression pedal to any one of the parameters. So when the green light is on, the pedal is activated, and we're essentially in live mode now. So the settings that you see on the pedal are going to be the settings that you hear. For example, we're in Astral right now. So if I hold this toggle, now I'm in preset mode. It's kind of hard to see the difference between the green and yellow on camera, but it's not that hard to see like when it's on your pedal board. So now I'm in my first, I guess over here, the first preset. And that's the sub effect that I used for the video. Now, if I were to make changes, like let's say on the length, you'll see that the yellow button starts blinking. So if I were to switch presets, here, let me turn this all the way down. If I were to switch presets, so go from 1 to 2, now I'm saved on my second preset. If I were to go back to 1, it's gonna save what I did prior to changing it. So if you wanna save what you do, go ahead and move a toggle, you'll see it start blinking again, and then hold down both. You'll see the red light pop up, they'll blink, and now you're saved. So when you see the solid yellow light, it's saved. When you see a blinking yellow light, it means you've made changes that haven't been saved yet. So I have my expression pedal connected with a TRS cable. Make sure you're using a TRS cable. And it's really easy to assign the expression pedal to any one of the parameters. Essentially, all you need to do is start with the pedal in the toe position, move the parameter you want to assign. As you're moving it, pull the pedal down to the toe. So we just mapped the pedal to the length parameter. So when I push it to the heel, I still have a pretty long delay, but in comparison to that, the expression pedal is working. So the expression pedal, super easy to assign. Like I said, I've only had about 24 hours to play around with the pedal, make the track, and then make this video. So we're gonna end here. All in all, I think it's a solid piece of gear for your board or for recording studio applications. If you're interested in the Astral Destiny, I'll drop a link in the description for you to buy it through our website. And if you found this video to be helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.